Who am I?
I think I did it.
601.
Hello. Oh, no. Desktop. Yeti. Yes. Hello.
Hey.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Indigo Playroom as we play another amazing game of Dungeons and Dragons. Because when you want to hang out and be nerdy with your friends, there's only one place to go, Indigo. So, welcome to Wonder. It's an amazing, fun game that we hang out and play, set in the world of Alice in Wonderland. This is episode 3, so welcome. Lots of fun things happening on the channel this week. For Thursday is our Creative Chaos. You never know what you're going to find on an episode of Creative Chaos, and so you will find something very cool unless we know what we're going to be finding this week on Creative Chaos.
It is a toss-up between Pinterest coasters and some other thing. We have plans. Whatever it is, it's going to be chaotic. And
there's going to be plans.
There's going to be stuff.
There's going to be stuff and plans and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We know there's going to be things on that stuff.
There's a good chance we're going to be really bad at it. Or not. I don't know.
We're really good at it.
There's going to be beer.
There's a good chance.
So, hey.
There you go. Tune in for that. On Friday is going to be our very first episode of Dread. I have some surprises set in store for our Dread players. But this game is going to be all sorts of fun Jenga Towery storytelling goodness. Tune in for that. It's going to be set in New Orleans. At a little tavern called the Green Fay Tavern.
Wait a tick.
With some characters that you will recognize. So please be sure to tune in for that. We cycle back around to Sunday for fun game night, where we'll be having some board games or something of that sort happening back on the channel, and then which brings us right back around to Tuesday, Fourth Wonder. So when last we left our band of heroes, they had met a stranger in the woods. Actually, met is a strong word. They rescued from a mechanical clockwork gnome by the name of Meneth. Meneth had some things to say about certain members of the party. He had a group of mice at his sort of beck and call and was able to use those mice to sort of track certain things and to identify certain factors of beings that he wanted to identify. They rescued not only Big D, but they also rescued a follower of the White Rabbit and learned a little bit about that. They found home, which was... Ooh, thank you. Moswell, thank you for the subscription. Love you, pal.
Oswald,
We've got a few mic crackles going on. I don't think that's anything we can fix. Here, maybe if I turn it down just a little bit. Let's try that. Thank you, Meowdeth. We'll turn that down and see, hopefully, if that helps.
I can bring the gain down, too.
Hey, what's up, Complete Spender? Get off your phone, jerk. And so that will bring us right around to today, where you guys sort of have it is around noon. You are in the home or the little sort of secret haven that you guys found along the way. And heroes, what are you going to do next?
So, for Grim is just gonna take in the adventure of the day and just try to get some food in his body for the upcoming adventure, whatever's near.
Mandrake is going to go out and I want to do a little foraging around home, like around inside, outside, just outside, to see if there's anything I can use for alchemy.
Sure. Give me a nature check.
10.
Man, there's a lot of flowers.
Every time.
You love a damn flowers.
You go flowers.
Mandrake takes a few minutes before you guys all sort of set off and do whatever you're going to do, and you scope out around. Mandrake, you're finding a lot of plants that you're familiar with, but nothing that sort of stands out to you as something that you could use, in terms of your alchemist capabilities. But you still take a few minutes to sort of search the surrounding areas.
Okay.
I'm gonna go as we're walking around. I'm gonna look for an opportunity to talk to Nyx by himself.
dead
He's
tree
just
walking.
in the tree area, just kind of sitting against one of the walls, relaxing.
Hey,
Hey, man.
so, I'm a little annoyed because, Grum lied to me.
Oh,
You didn't.
well, no, I didn't know. I told you the truth, man.
But you're not telling me all the truth. You're hiding. Why aren't you telling me what's really going on? Why aren't you telling me how you really know that language or what that language is or anything else? You are keeping secrets.
Is anybody else in the tree where they can hear us?
I would be lingering around this.
I
because-
have looked
Now,
specifically
he
for
looked-
a time when I could talk to
He
him alone.
looked.
Yeah.
He said that he was by himself.
Okay.
He looked for a place where he was in
Yeah.
the wall. So you could sneak up on this conversation, but you'd need to roll stealth for me while these two are talking.
I'm gonna go ahead and give them their moment. Actually,
Okay.
Alright, what did you ask me?
Listen, I understand keeping secrets. It's not like I don't have mine, because I do. But you got to have someone on your side. You got to have someone who can help you out. You've got to,
I know.
druid to druid, you got to be able to trust me.
Look, man, I'm kind of like running from something right now, and like I kind of can't let them find me. So like, if you'll just kind of wait a bit, I'll tell you later on what's going on when I have like the opportunity to.
And that's fine, but you can at least tell me what that language was. It's not just about the fate of my people.
Honestly, I honestly don't know, man. That is 100% the truth. I do not know what language that was.
How can you read a language that you don't know what it is?
There's ways.
So tell me those ways. What is your secret? We have the same background, we have the same knowledge base, we have the same training, and
We don't. I'm running from something. I'm hiding. And I like. Never mind.
I say to him in Druidic, do you know what I'm saying right now? Listen, I will keep your secret. But understand that it's bigger than just all of my people, and that is big enough
Right.
all on its own.
Can I trust you?
Yes.
How do I know?
I'll tell you my secret.
Okay.
When I came back to the village, my people were gone. Not just gone. The village, the everything, the people, the houses, everything was gone. There were trees, ancient trees growing where the houses had been, and he was gone. I don't know his name. He's just he. He's one of the ancient ones. He was the one who sent me. He was the one who told me to go, and I did, but he didn't tell me that when I got back, he was going to be gone. And I think it might be my fault, and I have to find them. I have to find my people, but I have to find him because he's really important to Wonderland. He is... I have to know the language because he has to be found.
I'm running from someone that wants me dead. And they're like very powerful. And I can't like let anyone know who I am. because I'm afraid that he'll find me.
So you're kind of like in disguise.
More than like you could imagine.
Oh,
So
I
like,
can appreciate that. Okay. You're a druid to me then.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
What is everybody else doing? We have Mandrake, who's sort of looking for different plants and herbs. Finding herbs. You get nothing. Good day, sir.
It's crystal.
What are the two of you doing while this conversation is taking place?
So I would have been probably sitting on the ground, strumming, doing something, and then just realizing, crap, I need something. So as I'm seeing him scourge around and everything, I'm gonna just kind of approach him. I want to make you a deal.
A deal.
A deal, yes, a deal. So I would give you something in exchange for you giving me something. How a deal works.
You have appropriately defined a deal.
As one does. I'm not sure what I can offer you yet. But I see that you might know your way around plants and substances and other things.
Yes.
How about I owe you a favor in exchange for what I need?
What exactly do you need?
She'll get real close. Like, can you keep a secret?
Not historically.
How about just this once? Break the rules. Keep a secret.
Fine.
She'll shake her maraca. She'll tilt it upside down and then shake, and just one little thing pops out.
Give me a medicine check at disadvantage.
Me or
No.
Okay.
Seven.
Yeah.
What's her mod?
She pops out this little maraca and she plays it a little bit, and there's this little and this thing sort of falls out into this little hole. You don't know what it is, but you've seen enough after-school puppet shows to know that this girl's she's got drugs.
Okay.
I need you to recreate this to the best of your abilities.
To the best of my abilities.
The absolute best. I'll know the difference.
That I can do.
Do you need some of it, or do you need to scratch it or smell it or anything, or you just looking at it and we're good?
Sure.
Don't use it. It's mine.
Oh, don't worry.
Do you plan on doing anything with this? Nope.
Me?
Nope, we're good. Let's just I give both of you for this one lovely gift. All right, so the afternoon starts to so the noon starts to turning into the afternoon, and the sun is starting to set a little bit. And you guys are still sort of around that area. What are you doing while all these conversations?
I have feasted on whatever food is available.
Was left at the table.
Yep,
Okay.
And you know what? I'm getting restless. I'm getting itchy. I need to do something.
Well, hello there.
Hello, my name is something.
And I will be your to-do list today.
I am your list.
So I'm gonna walk out where everybody is. What I'm assuming is most present, which is outside of the home. So
Sure. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
oh my sweet Jezebel. That is going to be 17.
You are feeling restless and you're sort of feeling antsy, and you're doing that thing where you sort of pat your leg and stuff like that, and a rabbit sort of rushes past a little bit, and you feel your body lurch. You feel a part of you instinctively sort of kick in, and your claws almost come out, but you stop it. But you realize that that antsy behavior was a little bit more than antsy. Like, there's a part of you that almost just sort of broke away, but you were able to sort of curtail it, like, right before you sort of jumped after it.
Okay. And was this something that they saw, like, in front of everybody, or was this just, like, right before?
They're all sort of wrapped up in their own sort of dealings and conversations that I don't think anybody noticed it, but it's enough to make you break it out into a little bit of a sweat.
Okay. Does anybody else feel that we should be on our way to an adventure or something, a new place? Right now would be great.
Well, anything you want, dear.
One's in. I'm also that other one.
I'm willing to do that as well, yes.
I wouldn't mind venturing to see Cheshire.
Huh.
What do you want to see Cheshire for?
I pull out the pendant. I assume he might have some information.
So we're gonna go on a witch hunt or information hunt? What are you
Well,
after?
We know what the rabbit pendant does.
Yes.
We have no idea what the Cheshire pendant does.
Well, it's not gonna bother me either way. I think getting out of here for a little while will just do my soul what it needs, as it is. Anybody?
Yay? Nay?
I'm okay with that. I mean, I guess we could go see Cheshire, or a town. I have something that I need to get made at some point, but we can see Cheshire.
Perhaps on the way we could find a town, perhaps a village worth.
On the way to through this bidding portal of Vortex while we're sipping teacups.
We don't know where Cheshire's gonna send us, so it could be.
He has a special Cheshire room.
They send us back to exactly the location and time where we left.
Do you remember this?
Yes, but I'm saying like along the way we could find.
It's okay, dear. You're pretty. You don't need to remember things.
However,
I'm in.
That journey is instantaneous,
I understand. Yes.
so we could potentially do both.
See.
Right.
Travel to town, use the cups.
So which are we doing first is the real question.
Well, it's getting kind of late, so do we want to walk in the dark?
I suppose we go see Cheshire, huh?
Onward.
Let's go introduce ourselves.
Cheshire it is.
Yes.
She'll hold up her cup.
Bing.
Cup.
Yep.
There is a melodic sound as you all pull out your teacups, all with sort of different tableaus on them. As you clink the cups, there is a whirling motion and that feeling of falling, which some of you are getting used to. You're falling, and then you're back in that sort of circular waiting room. There is a bit of music coming from the two double doors in front of you, and a little bit of light trickling in from underneath the door.
Well, we already know what's on the other side of the door.
Oh, good times.
We
Maybe.
know what will be on the other side of the door.
Okay.
We know what was on the other side of the door.
No,
Will be.
Ah.
Well, then will be, won't be, will they, won't they? Let's just go.
I opened the door.
You open the door, and it is a much quieter scene than what you saw the first time or the last time you were here at the club. Patrons are sitting and eating and drinking. A lot of the lavish decorations that you saw before are missing. The grandiose staircase is gone as well. Replacing it is this sort of just plain wooden sort of staircase that leads up to the second floor. Even the chandelier that you saw earlier is not there. But you make your way into the club, and the bartender sort of looks up at you and sort of nods his head and sort of continues to pour drinks. And some of the other patrons look up and don't really pay much heed, and sort of go about their business.
Not the welcoming party, I would have imagined.
Cheshire?
they don't know us, so like.
Yes. I'll walk over to the bar, and
Evening. It's I see a dwarven man, very stout, sort of red beard, looks younger than the dwarves you normally see, who just sort of have the white in the beard. You know, evening.
Evening, sir. Is Cheshire about?
I'm sorry, who?
Cheshire?
Armand! And you see this sort of big Goliath of a man come walking out from the kitchen. He's wearing just an apron, but he's so big that it barely covers. So and he's like, yeah. He says, they want to know. They want to know if Cheshire's here. And Armand just starts laughing, and the people at the bar all sort of turn around and look, and they go, "Hey, everyone! Has anyone here seen Cheshire?" And a lot of the patrons just start laughing, and sort of clinking glasses on the table. He says, "Where are you from, lad?"
That is a tricky question. It's more when, I think.
It's not that tricky.
Wonderland?
There you are. All right. Nobody here's seen Cheshire for a long, long time.
Well then.
Cheshire sent us here. How is that possible?
Cheshire sent you here. You saw him.
I believe it's more a matter of we felt him. As in, he was around and he wasn't, and he said some things, but he was very gone in a flash. Almost like smoke. You know that way he does that thing, right?
You see this look sort of pass across his face, and it passes across several other people's faces, and the way you're describing it does have a sense of familiarity to it, but these people here are looking at you like you're basically describing a conversation you had with Santa.
Okay.
I see the face you're making. A little bit of confusion. Might
Why?
I ask the last time you saw Cheshire?
Well, I see him every morning. And he points to a painting behind the bar. And it's Alice sort of looking up, and this sort of red and white striped cat sort of smiling there, and it's starting to disappear and come back, disappear and come back. You talk to Cheshire, like the Cheshire.
Talked, will talk, semantics, really.
Have a seat. And he goes over to where a couple of people are sitting, and he kind of shoos them away, and they sort of look disgruntled, and he goes, "You've obviously been through a lot. The first round's on me."
Well, that's mighty kind of you.
And he goes and he heads over back to the bar and starts filling up mugs and putting them on the table and in front of all of you, and he sort of pulls up a chair and he's like, "I don't know what you think you saw, but you can't go around dropping that name. Cheshire ain't been around for a very long time. And there are some people here, some folks here, that hold him in very high regard."
I'm going to reach into my bag and pull out the cat pendant and just show it to Armand. Does this mean anything to you?
It's a cat pendant.
So
no. So yes?
So are you like the owner of the bar?
No, I just work here.
Who owns it then?
Oh, you want to talk to Heathcliff?
No, I'm just curious.
Well, Heathcliff doesn't. Heathcliff, he's not here today, but I mean, I could probably send for him.
Nah, I'm just wondering who owns it.
Oh, I.
Co-owns it with Garfield.
So if no one has seen Cheshire in quite a while, then there must be somebody else that might know where, when he might be, right?
In theory.
Just because he hasn't been seen in a while doesn't mean he's not around.
Is that the only picture in the room that's moving, or are there other ones that are in the room that are also moving?
Give me a perception check.
Sweet.
I would also like to perception that because that's what I was.
Okay, yeah. Both
16.
of you give me a perception check. Okay.
Oi, lo siento. 16.
Okay, yeah, you guys both find your eyes going to the same spots around the room. It's crazy. What a random happenstance. You do notice several other photos that sort of move. I'm going to equate this to the sort of photos in the Potterverse to give you a frame of reference, but it's not like that because these are paintings, and you almost see the swirls of color sort of go with them and then come back. As a creature moves in the painting or as the scenery changes, it's almost like the brush stroke is resetting and then coming back, and then resetting and then coming back. Almost like those little holograms that you had as a kid, where you could that's what you guys see, and you see several other paintings around, all depicting sort of famous moments. Some moments in history. You see the Red Queen coming to power. You see other kingdoms as well that some of you are not as familiar with. As the two of you sort of look around the room and find, you see, I don't know, you see a random painting of like a family. It's a father, a mother, a son, and a daughter sort of standing there looking stoically, wearing regal clothes, but nothing that sort of catches your eye.
Are there books around this room?
Give me a perception check as you look around for books.
First roll on the new die. It was a 4.
Oh. Come on, guys. No.
And it's a plus 5, so it's a 9.
No, there's not a lot of books around, not in the bar. You see one ledger that looks to be like kind of close to the bar, but you realize that might be to rent out rooms, or it looks like a guest book of some sort. But that's the only book you see.
Okay. I'm gonna continue to talk to Armand. And
Yes. Well, this is Armand is the cook.
Okay.
Nobody's asked.
Ooh.
Oh. Okay. I'll introduce myself.
Yes.
Name's Mandrake.
Beeman.
Beeman. You seem like a man who likes to tell a story.
No, quite the contrary. I like collecting stories.
Ah. So a trade, maybe.
Ooh, what do you have to trade, lad? I'll take that hatch around.
Not for trade. But I can tell you about the man who gave it to me.
And what do you propose I give you for such a tale?
Perhaps the last time you saw Cheshire.
I think I could do that. Thank you, Goofy, for the host. Appreciate it. All right. Give me a performance check.
Nice.
Nat 20.
My man.
Madigan starts weaving a tale of his grandfather and his grandfather's exploits. What story do you tell the bar? Because at some point, the entire bar is just wrapped on your words. And then they start gathering around the table in sort of spades as you tell the story.
Okay. The story of the defeat of the Red Queen.
Okay. He tells this amazing story about his father and sort of the history found therein, and you know the story of the sort of first Red Queen and how his family sort of came together and came forward to defeat her and bring back a sort of peace and prosperity to the land. And as he tells this story, he's acting out different voices in different parts. And at one point, he jumps on the table and reenacts this final fight scene, and everyone sort of gasps and goes with the story. And by the end of it, everyone's just applauding and sitting at the table, and you bow, I imagine, and as you bow, the hat stays there, and then you look around, and then the hat jumps off, and it bows, and you grab it and put it back, and everyone. And Beeman looks at you. He's like, "Oh, I'll be able to drink off of that story for many years." Everyone sees Cheshire at different points of their life. That's how you get a job here at the bar. And a lot of the times, it's not what you think you're going to see when you see it. And you may even wind up questioning what you just saw. I was a wee lad in my village, and I was in my abode, and at one point I saw a cat go by the window. I was too young to understand you can't go chasing after cats in the middle of the night, but sure enough, I went out and chased after it, and I followed it to the outskirts of the village, he turned back, looked at me, and winked. And as he winked, I turned back to look at the village to see my hut on fire. My parents, my siblings, they didn't make it out. I spent many a long, lonely years walking wonder until I stumbled onto this place. Did you find the table?
We found a table.
That's how they get you, didn't it? EC?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ha- Not Siri, EC.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah. Wonder comes when you need him. And Cheshire comes with it.
But it seems as though you have to endure something, give something up.
Does it now?
It seems as though you've lost your family and your home.
You could view it like that. You could also view as that I was supposed to die in that fire.
I suppose that's the other way of looking at it.
And Cheshire found a use for me. Cats are mysterious. Hell, Cheshire could have set the fire himself. That's what you take when you embrace the chaos.
Such is the balance, I suppose.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. And Beeman sort of nods at all of you, gets up, and heads over to the behind the bar.
Is the painting of Cheshire that we saw earlier, is that behind the bar or is that accessible?
Is. It's behind the bar.
I think I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
Beeman's the one we just spoke to,
Yes.
and Armand's the one who's the cook.
Armand's in the kitchen, the half Goliath wearing
He's gone.
just
Okay.
an apron.
Okay. The half
There's work behind the bar, right?
That's Beeman.
That's Beeman.
Yeah.
Oh, Beeman,
Yes.
I have a favor to ask.
What sort of favor?
I've never been behind a bar. I've only ever sat in front of them.
I mean, there's not much to see. It's basically like in front of the bar, but dirt here.
I like it dirty.
Why is that every bar I've worked in?
You say I like it dirty?
Oh, yes.
Give me persuasion check at advantage.
Beeman is
Thank God for advantage.
Well, don't.
Oh, no. You said persuasion?
No.
What?
Persuasion.
Yeah. 10.
He goes, "You're cute. I just like my women with a wee bit more facial hair."
That's fair.
Beeman.
Beeman,
Go on.
I'm listening.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I feel
Please.
like tricks don't really work. I would really love to see that painting.
Yeah. Why don't you come on back? You can take a look.
Thank you. And she'll go up to it, and she just kind of wants to like touch where the cat turns, not like barely with her fingertips.
Give me a dex check.
A dex. Oh God. Just 9.
You're looking at the painting and you kind of want to trace your fingers over where the cat is, but the minute you do, the strong sort of beefy arm like kind of reaches up, grabs your wrist, and says, "You look with your eyes, not with your hands, lass."
Well, no one's held me this tight in quite some time.
Stick around, you'll get more. And he drops it.
So she'll kind of like back up, but she's still staring very intently at this thing. Like she's trying to learn the patterns of how it moves. Like it might just be a painting, but she's very
Give me
intent.
an investigation check as you just sort of sit there and stare at this painting and kind of see where it goes. I will let you. I'm a merciful god. I would let you do perception if that is any better than an investigation. She rolled a 2.
Nothing's helping her.
I was gonna try to help with a distraction.
So she could touch the painting.
Yeah.
But that's
Ooh.
going down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a deception check.
13.
What do you yell out to Beeman to get him to turn and look towards you?
I'm gonna stand up on the table
What am I doing?
and throw my hat
Okay.
in hopes that it circles and comes back.
Give me an animal handling check.
Oh, jeez. Well, I'm screwed.
Either way,
11.
we will. Okay. He's still got a bit of attention on him. So Madigan sort of stands up and takes the hat and sort of throws it off, and it's just enough so that Beeman sort of turns around as the crowd of people sort of look and cheer, and the hat sort of like circles around, and like smacks you right in the face. You take 1 point of damage as the hat smacks you, but everyone sort of laughs. He's momentarily distracted.
Okay, I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna just like real quick, like try to touch and trace and like learn the patterns of this painting.
Okay, so you put a finger on the map and you sort of trace the path that he goes. And as you trace the path that he goes, you sort of trace, and as your finger sort of traces the arc, a little bit of light flows off the painting and just sort of like keeps going past along the wall, past the bar.
Like I'm following the light, like I'm hopping over the bar.
Excuse me, pardon me.
Excuse me. Oh, you're cute. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Oh, hello, excuse me, sorry.
You guys are watching as all of a sudden Day sort of like, excuse me, pardon me, and starts like moving through the bar. You're watching as the light sort of is moving, going around the like lighting fixtures and doing circles and stuff like that. Give me a perception check as you can sort of like track this thing.
21.
Wonderful. So it kind of does this thing where it crawls up a table and under somebody's cup, and you're waiting to, you're looking at the table, and then you just sort of like, you do this cute thing where you sort of bend over, hello boys, good evening, and as you do, you see the lights under the cup goes down, the light keeps traveling on the table, up, and then up the stairs.
Going up the stairs, man.
You go up the stairs. There is a red rope at the top of the stairs that says employees only.
Please hold. I gotta go. We're going in.
Okay. So Day ducks under the rope. Is anybody else doing anything while this is happening?
I have a
Are
feeling,
you tracking her with your eyes?
Yeah, because I kind of want to do something
you
similar.
can.
Yeah. Zoe, are you sort of tracking her
Yes,
as well?
but I am not going past the rope right now.
So you guys all watch as Day sort of goes underneath the rope, gets up, sort of smooths out her clothes and waves at all of you, and like keeps following this little light.
Oh, yeah.
The light heads back to a very familiar closet to some of you. This closet was a storage space for paintings, and the light sort of dips underneath the crack and goes into this little storage space.
And it's something I can open? Like,
You could try.
I'm gonna try.
Okay. The door is locked.
Oh, goodness.
How long has it been? Like just a couple minutes, right?
Yeah.
Is there anyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to excuse myself, kind of rubbing my head where the hat hit me.
Okay.
And make my way.
Did you watch where I went?
Yeah, I was watching. So I'm gonna make my way up the stairs.
Okay.
It was pretty obvious about what I was doing, so make my way up the stairs and kind of take a look around, see if anyone's watching, and try to go under.
Yes, you can do that. Sure, go ahead. Sorry, I just had a realization.
Okay. So you stop and you sort of like go underneath the rope. Give me a stealth check as you're trying to do this a little bit more subtly and making sure that nobody's paying attention to you.
11.
You are walking and you're getting close to the rope and you hear, hey! Can't you read the sign, Hatter? Employees only.
Blow to the head, sorry.
It's all right. Come back down before you get another.
Could I have heard him say, Hatcher? I will use message, and I'll be like, how the hell do I get an unlocked door open?
You have a message that pops in your head.
Okay.
You've got men.
I'm going to say, get me there.
Okay.
Does anyone need any?
Oh, goodness.
All right. While all of this is happening, you see Tweedledee is sort of pacing back and forth. You can see a little bit of her cloth, but you see Mandrake, who's kind of gotten to the rope, stopped, and sort of come back down.
Stealth check on my way up.
You're going to head up there as well?
If the bartender, if he's not paying attention, which he's got to be at this point.
Yeah.
Are the stairs within
okay.
view of the bar?
Yes, the
Okay.
first few steps leading up until the rope are in view of the bar. Once you get past the rope, they are not within view.
Can I?
Okay.
Would it be an athletics check to just try to? I don't know if I'm trying to like just jump.
I will say the more that you guys are starting to move towards the bar
The more
and sort of look, he's now starting to come out from behind the bar.
Right.
I'm not very stealthy.
So listen, Madigan. We need to get up there. It seems that's the place to be.
Agreed.
So what do you? We can knock him out.
How many people are in here?
I would say about 10 or 15 people in the bar.
No, we cannot.
We could go in quietly.
Try that.
We could. Well. Then
Perhaps
I would love
both plans.
a drink. What's your plan?
Bar fight. Sneaky sneak.
So, is there someone in the bar that's a little bit more inebriated than another?
Give me a perception check.
You know what? I can make a distraction. Jeez, I guess I'll do this. Please don't get yourselves into trouble.
What did you do? It was more along the lines of it would be his fault. I would just react to his
Also,
fault.
at this point, it's more saving Tweedledee.
She walked into whatever this is herself, and for all we know, she's in an employee break room somewhere having coffee.
And
Or-
if you walked into it, we
and
would
if-
save you too. And we are not friends.
You just want to go up there. You don't care about saving anyone. You just want to go up there.
She said something to me in like a little thingy in my head. She needs help.
All right.
What do you do?
I'm gonna walk over towards the bar. This is so weird.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk.
Demon's starting to come around the bar, and you sort of walk towards the bar.
And this is I'm sure there are verbal and somatic components here.
Yep.
So I'm gonna try to be super sneaky about this. This
Okay.
might be great. I'm gonna make it rain behind the bar.
Okay, what spell is this?
Sorry, I'm in bar mode.
It's
Oh, no,
coin,
no,
so it's
I'm
making
sorry.
it hail. Okay.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. No, I was reading something wrong. Falling leaves, a puff of wind. Okay, so, okay. No, I'm not, because I can't do that. But what I can do is I can create the odor of like a skunk behind the bar, like a really, really bad odor.
He did say
like,
he was dancing out loud.
yeah.
No. Okay, so you kind of go over to the
Behind the
bar,
bar.
and sit there, and then are you trying to hide that you're casting a spell?
Oh, yeah. No, in fact, if I can get away with completely hiding and hiding behind the bar so they can't see me,
Give
I'm
me
going
a
to.
sleight of hand check
Nice.
as you start casting
Nice.
somatic components for.
Nat 20. That's my girl.
There it is.
There is this smell that comes from behind the bar, but the spell is overcharged for some reason, and you see Beeman just sort of, oh damn it, Armand! And Armand's like, what? And it's like, again, oh god! And then like Beeman just sort of like starts going like this, and like it's so bad that he looks like he's gonna throw up. Like, it looks like the smell is like, and it looks bad. For the time being, he is very distracted with trying not to vomit over there. Some of the other patrons that are in close proximity grab their drinks and move to tables away from the bar.
Okay, so I'm gonna make another
Stealth check at advantage.
Yeah.
Same Z's.
You're going to?
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Is there a place upstairs that you can be that's not behind employee areas?
No. Not tonight.
At advantage or save?
Yes, if you're
At advantage 11.
That was deuces. Teammates. Okay.
He rolled a nat 1, so
Wow.
you head
Okay.
up there somewhat easily and
That's
sort of
my
head up
voice.
there. Yep. There you go. So the two of them have left the bar. Nix, at one point you're just sort of like standing there, and then all of a sudden like people start vacating the bar, and you look around, and 3 of the people that you came into the bar with are just not there. But you see Thoe.
Yeah,
Thoe
that's
sort of
right.
waves. She's holding her nose. While she... Cool. What's up next?
Whoever smells the
So they're in there with me now?
They are next to the door with you.
I don't care who does it. I don't care how you do it. Get this thing unlocked, please.
what is it made out of? Just wood?
Wood.
I want to punch it.
No, we
Give me an attack roll.
punch it, please.
As Madigan starts
unarmed.
taking out his thieves' tools to pick the lock and sort of picking up which one would
I
fit.
want to murder you.
And this is going to be a dexterity, right? Or do I do an unarmed strike?
So,
No, it's an unarmed strike. Because you just said you're going to punch the door as hard as you can.
oh God.
Sure. Then that's 10, and let's add.
Yeah, it's a door. It doesn't have a huge AC. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh no. 18.
That's your damage?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, my bad. It's blown up.
So apparently you're a monk. 2?
Yeah.
All right, so you guys watch, and Grimm's like, man, I got this. There's a bit of a indentation.
Right. I'm going to pick the lock now.
Please.
Isn't your unarmed?
And what is that again?
Yeah, I just looked at it. But
This is proficiency plus dexterity for using thieves' tools. Unless you had double proficiency with those thieves' tools, then I think it's just dexterity plus proficiency.
Okay, so 2 plus 6, that's 8. And then they rolled a 16.
Okay, so you rolled a 16? So how much? What is the total?
6 is 24.
24. Okay. So Madigan sort of like creeps forward and pulls out some thieves' tools, and you're sort of picking the lock, and you feel the tumbler sort of like going into place. And right as you're about to flip the last sort of tumbler, the hat sort of leans forward and stops your hand and shifts you a little bit, and then comes back, and then like it goes up, and the door sort of creaks open.
Okay.
By golly, Hatch, you're my favorite thing in this room right now.
I loosened it for him.
And you're still pretty.
Ha!
She's gonna like mage hand the doors open.
Okay.
So cool.
Finesse move.
Okay. It is a closet.
Okay. Is like, and we don't see anything in it? We do see things in it? Is
Yeah,
there
there's
paintings?
boxes, there's sort of paintings up against the wall, there's a
We're
mop.
rummaging.
Okay, so you guys start rummaging.
Going through things.
Give me an investigation check unless you have a proficiency in it, in which case you can grant someone advantage. Or you can all just sort of stumble around and sort of make your own investigation checks. No, you're just going to sit there and...
Yeah.
You said investigation?
Investigation.
24.
Okay.
8.
Okay, Day, you're sort of looking around and you're finding sort of random boxes with cleaning supplies and rags and things of that sort, and you start rifling through the paintings and things of that sort, and you can't really find any sort of thing that catches your eye. I mean, you find a lost and found bin that's got some fairly decent jewelry in it and things of that sort. But for the most part, it's you don't really find a whole bunch. Madigan, you're sort of glancing around and you are looking in the back of the closet and you harken back to your great-grandfather's words of advice. When it's like, if you're having trouble seeing something, you know what you must do. You must look at it from a new perspective. And so you immediately stand on your head, and as you stand on your head, you see this little ball of light at the very bottom that's sort of it's sort of highlighting around this one particular object, and it's sort of like running up and down. From where you're standing, it looks like just a thing of dust.
Okay. So I'm going to reach back and grab at that.
It is like you reach and grab something, and it's like a stick.
Okay.
You yank it out.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out.
Okay.
It's sort of stuck there, but the minute you grab onto this thing, the light just sort of goes.
Okay.
No.
Found
What'd you find?
something.
And what is it that you're finding in there?
I'm not quite sure.
May I see?
You can try.
He sort of points it out to you, and sure enough, beneath the bookcase, it's almost like the bookcase is like this, okay? And it looks like a part of the wood of the bookcase is sticking out. It's almost like a long splinter, but it's pressing out like this. He grabbed it and tried to pull, and it didn't come out.
Okay. Bookcase.
Bookcase,
Splinter.
bottom of it, splinter that's sticking out from the bookcase.
think I'm trying to like picture this. Sorry.
Sure. Imagine.
Do you need paper?
No. Imagine a bookcase.
Okay.
Okay. Look at the DM screen.
Mm-hmm.
There is a splinter that's off of the bookcase. This is the splinter. He tried to pull it out like this, but it did not come out.
I'm gonna.
There's also an indentation in the bookcase where the splinter could go.
Okay. I'm going to go, as one would with a splinter, against the grain
Yeah.
and try to. I guess if it was angling down, I'm gonna try to go upwards and.
It does not move upward at all.
Mad.
May I have another try? I push it back into place.
All right, you slide it back into place, and as you do that, the back wall of the utility closet goes.
Okay.
We're going through the closet. Oh,
Too
don't
many
give
jokes.
me that.
I was waiting for it. I was like, is it gonna happen?
I'm a god. I can't help it.
I'm gonna walk in.
You walk in to this room, and as you walk in, does anyone follow suit? The two of you, you're still outside the room.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk near it.
You sort of peek around the corner, and as these two sort of walk into this room, the door kind of closes the back of the closet.
Well, that was interesting.
You are in a large circular room. It is surrounded by 10 chairs, all of them metal, around a large circular table. On the circular table itself is a map of the continent of wonder.
Okay. I want to walk up and just kind of really look at the map, like see if there's anything written on it, anything.
Sure. Give me. Yeah. You know what? You don't even need to do this. You don't see anything written, but you know enough of the geography of the certain area that you're from that it is an accurate down to the smallest detail of this particular. It is the continent of wonder. You see sort of like mountains, houses. You see small like figurines off to the side that might represent villages, or you see ships that you can push in the water, or you see something that looks like small figures that look like soldiers that you could place around an area.
As
It's
someone,
a war room.
it's what?
It's a war room.
So, your take from this? Just people plan to fight in a bar.
Give me a perception check. 10. You are sort of looking around and you're sort of paying attention. So much so that you don't hear or see more so than feel the two sort of big hands that sort of clamp down on your shoulders and sort of like lift you up like this, and you are staring at the face of that Goliath figure that's wearing just the apron. He says, "You don't belong up here."
On the contrary, I do. As a matter of fact, a club member, if you will.
Club member?
Yes. I.
Freeman, do we have club members? No, I don't believe we do.
Maybe club was a wrong term. You know, like a frequent drinker, patron.
He
if you-
walks you down the stairs, still sort of holding you, puts you into the round space, closes the doors to the round space, and you are gone. You find yourself sitting outside of the little cave area that says home, right before you took your journey. As that happens, Armand sort of like looks up at the stairs and then looks back at you and looks at you. Where's the other two?
I have no idea, man.
Bathroom?
Give me a deception.
Do we have a bathroom?
He has no
That would
idea.
be a 5.
He walks over to you, sort of looks up. He's gonna have shite for insight. Oh, that's not bad. He goes,
tea?
He picks you up, brings you to the circular room. He motions for you to come forward.
I get some.
He points to the circular room where Thoe is.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
Okay. And I go.
He slams the door shut, and you two appear right next to your good buddy Grim.
What in the hell?
How'd it go?
Oh, big oaf of a man came and grabbed me and put me out of here.
Oh, but if I had a nickel.
Let's cycle back to the war room.
So, as someone who's been running around Wonderland for quite some time, it's possible to take a deep note of what's happening here. Like
Use
it's
other
obviously-
words. What do you mean? Do you want to take a deep note?
to realize again that it's like the continent of Wonderland, and it's like
Yes.
an exact
I would say that the
replica.
two of you have enough wherewithal to realize that this is a accurate representation of the continent of wonder.
okay.
Okay.
And what else is in this room other than the tables? Like what's on the walls and
It looks like sort of red, sort of silk. If you are to believe what Mandrake said, that this room is made sparse for a reason, so as not to distract from the focus or the what has to be done at hand.
So, what do you take from this, other than the war room? Because quite frankly, this is Wonderland, and that's all I've gotten so far.
Looks old.
Well, this whole bar looks old.
Like the original war old.
Who has the Cheshire necklace?
I do.
Okay.
I pulled it out earlier, but I never put it back. But yeah, probably put it back. I'm gonna take out the necklaces, both of them.
Okay. Yeah, you take out the necklaces.
Okay. I'm gonna walk towards the table.
Okay.
Kind of haphazardly lay them on the table.
Which one?
Both of them.
You see, I want to say 50 or 60 red lights that sort of pop up on the table and are all at different parts of the continent. And you see about 70 to 80 blue lights that appear on the table and moving at different parts.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up the rabbit one.
Okay, the blue lights disappear.
Did you see that?
Yes, lights. What happens if we switch them?
I put the rabbit one down and pick the Cheshire one up.
Okay, the red lights disappear, the blue lights come on.
You don't suppose.
Hide.
Give me. I will give you stealth checks at disadvantage.
I'm
as
gonna
you're-
grab both necklaces.
You can hide or you can grab both necklaces.
Crap. I'm gonna grab both necklaces.
Okay.
Nope. If he's not hiding, I wouldn't hide. So I'm standing there with him.
You see the front of the door open. Mm-hmm. In steps a figure wearing a hood on, and as they open the door and they see two other people in here, they sort of stop. They are about to take the hood off, and someone places a hand on their shoulder. The hooded figure turns around. They whisper something to each other. The hooded figure turns back, takes the two doors leading into the war room, and slams them shut, and you are back with your friends outside.
That was quite an adventure. I had fun.
Fun.
Yes, everything's fun. If you think about it the right way.
So what on earth happened?
Yeah,
And
what
how do
was
we
it
get
going
back?
Up the bar.
So after you attacked the door so efficiently, we found what appears to be a war room.
The war room in Wonder.
In a bar.
Active.
It was when I put the pendants down.
That would explain the big oaf behind the bar. Especially taking me out of it.
I was just sitting there.
It was very old.
I think it's a tracker.
I would agree.
The war room is a tracker.
We put the pendants on and lights lit up.
And it
When
was
we remove
dependent
one, the
on
lights go away.
which pendant, different lights.
Oh, like when you put the rabbit pendant down, something lit up, and then when you put the cat pendant down, another thing lit up.
Correct, yeah.
Give me an intelligence check.
5 plus not. I mean, okay.
Something
but
about what
not.
they said tickles the back of your head, but
7.
you just can't reach onto it.
Follow us.
Yes.
Then we might as well get back there.
We can't until tomorrow.
So are we going to town then?
Unless anyone else has any other ideas.
Can't get teleported out of town if we screw up.
Well, I mean, probably we can, but
Chased off.
What?
Ran away. Beaten to death. There's plenty of options. Teleportation, though, is probably rare.
I don't know. As somebody who didn't break into the employee area of the bar, I think I'll be okay.
Did you help?
I did, but they were just going to get caught and kicked out.
You're so adorable when you call her out.
I cannot promise it won't happen again.
Yeah.
So to town then.
Mate, oh.
All right. So you guys start heading into town. What town are we heading towards? Right now, you're in a portion of the forest that you are not familiar with. There are sort of roads and things like that, but I don't think any of you have ever traveled here. You followed a couple of different people to this sort of point.
I don't road.
I mean, we know where Duroth is.
Well, we don't know where it is in relation to where we are now, because we don't know where we are now.
That is fair.
We're by the home tree. We're by the home tree?
By the home tree.
We ended up right back here.
Well, we got taken here so we can find our way a little bit back to the main road that we were on when we got here. I think.
You could try. You were led here to home, and then you were led here from where the table was.
Well, are there any clues, any indicators? Are there wheel tracks that go towards
Sure,
the town?
give me a
Is
survival
there
check.
anything that gives us?
Is there any
Are there
maps
little
inside
broom men
home
sweeping away the tracks?
that are up on the wall?
You said survival check.
Yes.
12.
Yeah, you guys Thoe starts like sort of looking around the area, and sure enough, she sort of is walking through, and she sees this main sort of thoroughfare. The thoroughfare it goes east or it goes west, but it's sort of this main road. You're seeing lots of traffic here. It's foot traffic and wagon traffic. You don't know where it goes. You could follow a direction for a little bit.
Where's the majority of the traffic headed?
I will. 13's good enough to realize that the majority of the foot traffic is headed east.
If people are heading east, there's likely to be something east. Might as well figure it out. If nothing else, we can figure out where we are.
Yeah, that's
That's fair.
Let's go.
The party starts traveling east. As you start going and spending the majority of your time, you do randomly see sort of people that are walking along sort of the path, and they sort of nod to you and keep mostly to themselves. You see people as the day gets a little bit longer. You realize that people are starting to branch off and start forming little camps alongside this road. Pretty soon, you do get to a sign post that is pointing you towards Duroth, and it's pointing the direction that you're traveling. But it says, you realize that it's written underneath in thieves' cant is the symbols that stand for lots of valuables don't get caught.
And
Do you tell this to
all
anybody?
that.
You guys watch as Mandrake sort of gets close, and what you think are just some random scratches into this sort of wooden signpost. He starts tracing them with a finger, and then just sort of puts his finger down.
Mm-hmm.
What's that there?
Just some advice.
Advice.
We should tread lightly.
This could be fun.
Make the sound of this water.
You guys are so good at translating things cryptically or not at all.
You make an excellent point, dear.
You continue to travel. The sun continues to set, and it's starting to get fairly dark. Are we traveling through the night?
In a place we don't know, we probably shouldn't travel.
No, I don't.
Let's camp.
Camp?
Cool.
Yes.
You managed to find a place. Are we looking for any particular place to camp for the evening? Are we just finding a place that's alongside the road? Are we finding a place a little off the road?
I'm trying to get either deeper into the forest or higher up a tree, something like that.
Everyone or just yourself? Like you're just concerned for yourself?
Right now, given where we're going and all the people that are going to be there, I'm trying to figure out to stay safe.
Sure. You guys watch as Thoe just sort of like starts looking around and no, not Thoe. Day. Day starts looking around and gets to a tree and starts trying to climb a tree. Or in her boots. Give me an acrobatics check as you try to
good lord.
climb this tree, or an athletics check.
Either one.
I think this is more athletics, but I was trying to be kind with acrobatics.
Are you going to let me take acrobatics?
Sure.
11.
Yeah, you guys watch as Day just starts to like kind of try to climb up in the boots, and the rest of your clothing is not really conducive to climbing. Yeah. So there's some. So at one point you just sort of give up and sort of slide down the rest.
I'm gonna turn into a squirrel and run past her and nestle up in the tree right above her.
Thoe just sort of climbs up the tree and sort of stops and looks down and looks at all of you. Are you guys setting up camp?
I'm gonna go find other rations aside from what's in my pack.
Okay. You start looking around. Give me a nature check. What are you foraging for?
Meat.
Okay, that's
small game.
Nature.
Rabbits,
okay, so while you guys are sort of setting up, and Thoe is very comfortable in the top of her tree, sort of looking down at all of you, you guys watch as Grim sort of starts sniffing the air and starts running like a small cat.
Wow.
As you start running through.
And I roll a nat 20.
You rolled a nat 20.
Yes, sir.
Grim, you sort of take a deep breath in, and as you do, the smells of the forest sort of permeate your senses a little bit, and as you open your eyes, they're a little bit more canine in nature. They're a little bit just more animalistic. And as you sort of like look around, you're seeing heat signatures of certain things as you're sort of at home in this particular area. So give me a perception check.
Ooh, that was actually good. 21.
You are sort of nestled in your tree, and as you look down, you see Grim sort of take a few steps away from everyone else. And as he does, he sort of bends down a little bit. And as he does, the flora and fauna around him sort of recoil for just a second as he sort of like takes a deep breath in and sort of out. You see the heat signature for what looks to be like a little like warren off to the side.
I'm running down after him as fast as
how
my
close
little
this thing
four
is?
legs
It is.
carry me.
It's like jumping distance.
Yeah, it's
like,
with jumping distance from where you are right now. It just was hidden underneath the brush.
Then that guy's just going to get real low just to get ready for a big lunge and just take off at it.
Okay. Are you going bestial with this? Are you taking it? So okay. You watch as Grim's claws extend. His canines get a little bit larger, and he jumps forward, sort of killing this area and like shoving his claws into it, and then coming out. And because of that nat 20, he's got like a dead rabbit on every single one of the claws that he reached in and stuff like that, and has it up like this, and just sort of walks over to where the camp is. And just sort of plops them down.
That was better. All right. Where were we?
I pop out of squirrel form.
Who's setting up camp? Yes.
Is he still like, he doesn't look beastie anymore?
He's got a couple more seconds of it, so I will say as you get close...
How'd you do that?
The teeth retract, the eyes
bring him back! How'd you do that?
What are you? What is she?
The teeth.
I know that's.
Bring it back. No. Yeah.
What are you getting at?
What are you? You're not like me. How'd you do that?
I jumped and caught it. How do you?
You didn't turn. You turn into something, but you're not like me. So how did you turn into that? What did you do? What were you? What are you?
I just imagined on his face.
I am just the.
Stretching.
You had teeth.
We all have teeth.
You had long teeth.
We all have.
They
long
were really neat.
It,
Are you? Do you even know what you do? Did
of course I know what I do. They were moving. We could all see it. We could all see what was moving.
You just caught 5 rabbits, which I would normally be really upset about, but that was cool.
This is. It happens. It's just.
Accidentally? Ooh, I accidentally turned into a beast with large fangs and killed 5 rabbits.
Can we be doing anything else right now? Like preparing these rabbits, for example. Making a campfire before it gets too cold, maybe. Maybe setting up sentries and setting up first watch.
How frustrated are you right now?
I'm quite frustrated.
Make a wisdom save.
Not long.
You could be setting up watch. You could be doing any of those things except bothering me, right? And he reaches a hand out, and those claws extend towards your neck.
Are we?
I turned
watching
into a
this?
dire wolf.
Yes.
Okay, I'm up. I'm like, put her down right now.
I don't want you to put her down. I don't want you to put her down.
Sorry, this is game on.
Nope.
Okay, just making sure.
And that's where we're going to take our intermission. We have a dire wolf staring at someone who's a little shifted, and people are starting to sort of freak out at camp. We're going to take a quick intermission, and then we will come right back. We're going to refill our drinks, and we'll see you all very soon. 3. Boom. We're back. Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We are back with some more exciting, wonderific action here at Indigo Chameleon. So when last we left our heroes, we had a direwolf, sort of half-wolf showdown happening. So I will leave it to you. What is everyone doing?
Attacking? No, actually, I'm waiting to see if he attacked me.
Oh, I got you by the throat.
I just want. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, no, doesn't he have to roll to get me by the throat? Or is that considered a surprise
you
attack?
extended your claws towards her. As you did, she shrunk down and changed into a direwolf. So you don't have her by the throat. You extended your claws extended of their own accord.
Word. So then I'm gonna just try to take you down.
All right, give me an attack roll. You guys all watch.
Or is this initiative?
Yeah, let's actually roll initiative.
Okay.
Everybody can roll initiative for me.
If I re-roll, it'd be 18 unless I re-roll.
Does shifting take an action or a bonus action?
Oh, it should be a bonus action, but I haven't gotten to choose my school of magic yet. Or it's my school of wild blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
What did you get?
18.
18.
Do we need to re-roll again?
17.
9.
No. Okay.
Oh, that's not true.
Wild shape is a bonus
This
action.
continues.
Because I forgot to add
Yeah.
initiative. I got
You have a what?
a 19.
He's definitely
19.
not jumping into this first second
True.
he sees it.
So for the wow,
He's
Dave's
definitely
going.
like-
Matt.
Whoa.
Day's pissed.
Okay. What initiatives do I have from everyone else?
Oh, I didn't roll.
18 for us.
15.
18 for
Yeah.
you.
18 for
The
you.
last one. I'm cool with that. You guys?
Roll off between the two of
Yeah.
you guys.
So 14 plus
Use
initiative?
that now.
No, just
Okay,
a
14.
straight up D20.
14.
Use that now.
1.
Yeah.
Get that out of the way.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
worst
I wish
part
I'd
about
remembered
this
I
is
had
I have
that
to
in
play
the
her
club.
character.
You really.
I really
Crap,
do.
I forgot I can turn invisible.
That one out of that system.
Oh. All right.
Does that work against dark vision though?
It does.
Damn it.
I could have done that.
Zoe. And then we have Nyx bringing up the rear.
Hello.
All right.
I found this weed on the ground.
Tweedledee, what do you do?
Since nobody's hurt anyone yet,
Nope.
Yet.
she's just like, don't you freaking touch each other. I will be so angry. Nothing is good. Screw all of you guys. Stop.
Everything's
I
on
know.
fire. I'm on
Not
fire.
mad. I'm
This is fun.
disappointed.
I know I have to play her character, and I'm sorry.
No, this is great. This is great.
So
Do you interpose yourself between the two of them, or you stand where you are?
That would
I'm,
be a poor choice.
I'm
Dog
like,
fight.
if they're right here, I'm like right here, and I'm like, don't you fucking do it. I will murder both of you in your sleep.
Tweedledee entreats you to stop what you're doing. That you guys need to stop.
I would imagine at this point I'm so irate that her voice is white noise.
Give me a wisdom save at disadvantage.
Please don't hurt her.
8.
Please stop.
He only has eyes for you.
Hey girl.
Hey girl, hey.
Sweet.
So go from there. I believe that is you, pal.
Sweet.
Grim.
Then since my claws are ready to go, I just want to lunge at her.
Okay.
And now
Give me an
it's on.
attack roll.
5.
So you reach forward with the claws, but you are actually aiming at Zoe, at her sort of, even though she's shorter of the Furbolgs, she's still very tall, and you were actually aiming for like a kill shot. But as she sort of shrinks down, the claws swipe right past, and now you sort of crouch down and see her turned into this sort of dire wolf that's sort of standing there. Madigan, what do you do?
So I'm gonna jump. How far away am I?
You're pretty close. Everybody was
Pretty
sort of
close?
gathered around each other.
Okay. So I'm going to jump over them, land next to him, take the pill out of my pocket, and shove it in his mouth.
The drugs that she gave you?
Yup.
You love it.
First of all,
I love it so much. Give me athletics check for the parkour
Athletics or
hippity hop
acrobatics?
movement. Give me acrobatics.
Season wrap on Chris, y'all.
19 plus
Yeah,
8,
that you make
27.
So you managed to flip a dip.
That's
You managed to Tony Hawk your way like over them, and then I guess. Oh, I don't know how this would work.
Oh, that's not going to be good.
Is your mouth open? Are you like snarling and growling here?
That I would imagine. I'm sitting there just baring my teeth, like trying to show dominance. So I would
Okay,
imagine.
give me 2 d20s. Add your dex and your proficiency.
19.
Yeah, that'll do it. So, reference my table.
Oh my gosh. You're getting my table before I
It's
am.
either going to be awesome or awful.
Or all some full. Or full all.
I'm hoping it knocks you out.
So,
or something.
Thoe, you've watched as Madigan sort of flips over all of you, shoves a pill into Grimm's mouth, and Grimm sort of like recoils backwards as the pill was shoved into his throat. That's the
I'm like
last thing
rubbing
you
his
saw.
throat like you do a dog. Like swallow it.
But he's still in like scary dog form.
He's still hulking out a little bit.
Okay, and he's still looks attacky.
Yep.
Okay, so I am going to attack.
Okay.
Now she's within 5 feet, and now he is within 5 feet. Do I get
Correct.
advantage?
Yes, this has advantage. Because of.
It was a nat 1 and an 8, so that was a 13.
Does a 13 hit your AC?
No.
Okay. So as you're recoiling sort of back this truck, which is going to be really funny in just a second, he sort of like, as you lunge forward, he sort of instinctively like recoils off to the side, and as he does, like your claws just miss sort of digging into his shoulder a little bit, and he sort of pushes you away from him as this pill its effects are taking hold. Nix, what do you do?
Okay, so he has the pill shoved in his face, but he's not doing anything.
Right.
I'm gonna cast Charm Person.
Cool.
That's Wisdom saving throw of 13.
Yes. Now, I believe when you're charming person, if you're attacking them or they're feeling attacked by you, they make the save at advantage. Correct?
It must make a Wisdom saving throw and does so with advantage if you or your
Right. And he's feeling a little bit
yeah.
attacked right now.
So, yeah.
So give me a wisdom saving throw at advantage.
6 both times.
Six
I'm sorry,
both-
that's a 9. That's a 9.
That's a 9.
Yeah.
So what is your wisdom save?
Oh, plus the 9. Yeah.
9. Okay.
Plus 0.
So that charm person all of a sudden like, hey man, like Nix is
Chill, bro.
your bro. Your bro. Cool. And that is your move. Day.
We're cool though.
So
Well,
the
you guys
first
are fine.
thing I would like to do is I want to cast hideous laughter on him.
Okay.
God,
Yeah.
Have you ever had high?
drugged up and laughing.
Yeah, you drugged up and laughing.
It's like every.
Okay. Creature choose wisdom. So you have to make a wisdom save
Why is everyone trying to beat up me, bro?
because
Disadvantage or advantage?
you don't get.
Okay, that's 10.
So you don't make it because it's a 13.
Are you rolling a d20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your wisdom saves.
I know.
All right.
All right.
Your diary says mom.
So you're prone right now with laughter, like you cannot stop laughing, which is really fantastic. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use some of my bardic inspiration up in her. Kick that pup in the ass, kick him hard and kick him fast. Don't let him lay a claw, or else I will break his paw.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
Take your d6 of inspiration. Very good. Okay, so as that happens, you're laying on the ground, laughing hysterically. You are sort of writhing on the ground, twisting, sort of looking around. That pill makes its way into your system, and all of a sudden, you stop laughing. You sit up, and you look at everyone, and everyone is bathed in all of these different sort of ethereal lights coming off of them. You're getting a true look into the core of who these people are.
Great.
You look at Thoe, who's standing there in the wolf form, but you see an image of a furblog standing where the wolf is. And I rolled a 19. I don't know what to say. The only thing better than this would have been the 20. And that's weird. So you look at Thoe and you see this sort of person sort of bathed in green, but they're standing in a library for some reason. Like you're looking at her and it's almost like this other world sort of vision imposed upon itself, and your claws sort of retract in within itself. And next to Thoe is a very large shape. What color is this shape?
Oh, is it
What color?
him?
Yes.
Oh, indigo.
Hey,
You see
play
a very, very large, almost when you're staring at a building and it's so tall that you kind of keep looking up, and it is this indigo shape that looks almost serpentine in nature next to her. But the claws sort of retract in within itself, and you guys all watch as his pupils are just... And he's smiling, just kind of staring and looking at Thoe. Who is next? Madigan.
Oh, that was my turn.
That was your turn.
Not focused.
You've just seen the claws retract and his eyes get big and
Right.
he's smiling.
Otherwise, I'm still pretty wolfy.
No,
Oh, everything's.
everything's back.
Okay.
Is hideous laughter technically
So he's no longer.
something harmful to him? Because then I lose my charm.
Charm person and this particular effect of the drug sort of negates all pre-existing sort of conditions on him.
Gotcha.
So we're out of battle. Yeah.
You could choose that.
Please.
I mean, yeah.
So Madigan just sort of stops. Nyx,
I'm not attacking if no one else is.
Day.
He just took one of my pills and he's on a trip, and I'm like freaking out right now.
You're freaking out for him.
I'm
because you
freaking
have
out
no
for
idea
him a little bit because
what
I'm
you
like,
see.
shit, I don't know what that one did.
Who are you trying to look at?
Well, do I know that we're now like?
No, that's
gone since.
You're just sort of like staring and looking around at people. Who do you turn your gaze to next?
Who's the closest
You do
proximity?
Well, they know. Yeah, you know
You do
that
know I
you've been
charmed
charmed.
Yeah,
Yeah, when
Also,
it
we're all
drops.
fighting.
yeah, but he does not care.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine me being like, hey, you
Tweedledee is the one closest
Okay,
to you.
that's,
Kind
then
of a yeah, of course I would.
now who? Okay, so if I'm looking at her, obviously there's more of the vision that's happening. Would I be able to see the rest?
No.
Just
You're
her?
directing your focus towards her. It sort of shrinks down to a pinprick,
Okay.
and you start seeing images interposed on it.
Then yeah, I'm looking at her.
You see Tweedledee, and she looks amazing. She's ethereal, she's beauty, she is woman incarnate. And as you look at her, you're seeing all these sort of different colors of purples. And then the purples shift a little bit to this bright red color. Like a bright, bright red color. Like, you see
Like-
a heart. No,
Okay,
you
yeah.
see a heart.
Gotcha.
Like the Queen of Hearts heart.
Shit.
And it's sort of interposed around her. And as you do, you see a hand sort of claps down on her shoulder and sort of squeeze. And as it squeezes, she's looking at you concerned, and there's a hand holding on to her hand that's sort of caressing her hand while this darkened shape has an arm around her shoulder.
Do I know the dark shape doesn't have like any distinction.
It just looks tall. It's
Gotcha.
vaguely humanoid.
Is the hand who I think it is?
The hand could be. It ain't your trip, girl.
I know. it could have been.
Yeah.
Then I'm just gonna
I but I
Stumble
wouldn't
my
know
way
it's
to
there.
You stumble your way back. I would say you probably take a turn looking at everyone. As you sort of stumble backwards, you look at Madigan. And Madigan is a little weird because you look at Madigan, and Madigan is exactly what you see when you get him. Like Madigan is this weird sort of like as the colors start to go out, they kind of get like sucked back in. There's no fronts. There's no anything like that. The weird thing is the small boy sitting on Madigan's head. It's a boy wearing all green. He's got really frizzy red hair, and he's sort of staring at you. And as he sees you looking at him, he sort of looks down at Madigan and sort of smacks Madigan in the face. And Madigan, you feel the hat sort of like shift on your head, sort of pulling you, and you're just watching as this little boy is smacking the shit out of Madigan, just smacking him in the face and trying to get him to move and trying to get him to turn or get out of there, and you feel the hat sort of tugging you and pulling you off.
Lastly,
the last thing you see when you look at him as the drug starts to leave your system, you see your vision coalesces and focuses down to sort of a pinpoint vision of Nyx, and Nyx is sort of looking at you concerned, because he doesn't know if you're freaking out because of the charmed person. You see one thing and one thing only, and it is a large throne. And Nyx is simultaneously sitting on the throne and off the throne at the same time. Two different versions of him. One is sitting at the base of it, one is sitting on it. And the drug clears.
it's a fucked up house. So obviously, I'm assuming we come out of this extremely dazed and very tired. I'm imagining.
Absolutely. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
That's amazing. That is going to be 13.
Purple, and then he just falls asleep.
Yeah, that happened to me the first time too.
She's like, oh yeah.
Oh, he's coming out of it. Okay, perfect.
Oh, that was a good one.
He says the word purple and just passes out. He's asleep on the ground, just sort of smiling, looking up at the stars,
She's gonna go to his side and just start checking on him, checking his pulse, everything.
Give me a medicine check as you sort of check on him to make sure that he is okay and everything's
10.
As far as you know, he seems cool. You've seen some bad trips before. He's not foaming at the mouth or anything like that.
It's not the worst I've seen.
But yeah,
It's not doing great.
Well, that was interesting. I'm gonna.
I will go-
Create
yeah.
a bonfire close enough to him where he'll get some warmth, but not to burn him at all.
I'm covered in fur.
Yeah, and just in case, I'm just seeing if there's an advantage to one versus the other. No, okay. Just in case, because, I'm going to go ahead and cast Cure Wounds just because.
do you snap out of wolf form?
Yeah, I've got to drop down.
Okay, so
wolf form
Thoe
to do
sort of
that,
snaps
yeah.
out, and you cast Cure Wounds on him.
Yeah.
Okay, if you
Yes.
took any damage at all?
Not
damage.
Not the anything
I don't
aside
think
from
he did, it's just that she
yeah,
doesn't
her-
know that.
She doesn't know, but you guys all watch as sort of Thoe sort of walks forward and channels the earth around her, and you feel this sort of warm sort of breeze sort of move through the camp that sort of takes the chill off a little bit. And as it does, any wounds or anything that you had on you are sort of close and heal, and there's a sigh of contentment as he falls sort of deeper into sleep close to the fire.
I was hoping that would have woken me up.
All right, so I'm really, while he's sleeping anyway, I'm going to really examine him. I'm going to poke his teeth a little
Give
bit.
me an investigation check.
If you put me in your book, so help me. Chloe.
You give me a perception check as her healing you. I can't get away with her being like, "What is this?"
Investigation it's a 21.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
I rolled a 19.
you're examining him, and you're noticing this kind of perfect mix of sort of animal anatomy and human anatomy. He ain't human. He may look it at times, but he ain't human.
I've got my book out. I'm sketching.
You pull one of the teeth, and the teeth actually comes down further than when it does, and you're gone. You've got your book out, you're sketching, and she pulls one of the teeth out, and sort of it as it retracts up, your eyes just sort of come open a little bit.
Please be close to me, right up in.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm just gonna push you as hard as I can.
So he just sort of pushes you off of him. He's a little scared and freaked out, so you feel that way.
Are you okay?
We are not that close. We are not
Yes,
that.
we are. We're this close.
We're not that, like, I'm asleep, you can come, like, ooh, he's handsome. We're not that. You need to.
Hey, listen, you owe me one, okay?
For what?
You lied to me
About what?
about the words.
And so you're trying to kiss me?
No, I didn't try to kiss you.
Then what are you doing so close to my face?
I'm looking at your teeth.
That's any more creepy than you trying to kiss a sleeping guy.
It's a whole lot less creepy. It's scientific.
Get away.
Okay, tell me about your teeth.
I imagine people spend time cooking,
Yes.
and
I'm gonna approach him and ask, hey man, what was in that thing you gave him?
Oh, I have no idea.
So as he's standing there, I would like to start walking up to him, like with anger in my eyes, and just like go, like reach my hand up like this, and then just pull it back down. And you owe me one.
I'll make
Actually,
you
you owe
one.
me multiple.
you have 2 pills left.
I know.
Can I roll to put 2 and 2 together?
Sure. What are you putting together?
That she gave it to him? Because that's
After that conversation? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You don't even need to roll.
Okay.
Like,
I want that.
yeah, she gave you. She gave him something. He used it on him.
Gotcha.
She's pissed that he used it on him.
Gotcha.
Mistrusting.
So I want to yet again try to look around for ingredients.
Nature check.
Especially because she's upset.
Do I give him advantage if I have perception, or proficiency, or do you want me to check?
Do you have proficiency in nature?
I do indeed.
Yes. Then take this check at advantage as you sort of like look around the area.
Oh, sorry. 7. So it's a 10 or 19.
You are exploring a sort of small area around the campfire, and you can't find anything. And then all of a sudden, you sort of go over to where this sort of tree had fallen a while ago, and you're like, well, I'm already in. And you sort of like Winnie the Pooh it, like stick your head inside. Inside, you see this bioluminescent moss. Is everything okay?
Cat.
Okay. You see this bioluminescent moss that as you sort of approach, it releases this sort of like cloud of spores as you get close to it.
Okay. So I go ahead and gather up some of that moss.
Okay. How
And
much of it? Like all of it?
Yeah, as much as I can get.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, no.
boy.
That's the good stuff.
14.
You know it's good when you have to make a con save.
15.
You are drunk.
Okay.
You are a little drunk, not super gone wasted.
Okay.
And you have the sensation in your body of being a super drunk.
So I'm gonna sit down and start having a conversation with my hat.
Okay. He goes digging through the woods and then all of a sudden comes to the fire and places his hat down next to the fire where everyone is.
You do.
What the hell?
The hat tilts its head.
You're supposed to listen to me. Like you did my grandfather? And now me. He gave you to me. So you listen to me. Maybe we work together?
The flaps in the head back like this.
Okay,
Maybe you at least follow my lead. Maybe I follow your lead.
The hat sort of like goes over to where you are and sort of hops on top of your head.
Okay.
Give me an animal handling check.
Oh, jeez. I chose poorly.
That chose you, Harry.
12.
You think it went well?
Okay.
You're talking to a hat. It's hard to tell. Hats are hard to read.
Yeah.
It's a
So-
Stetson, that's why.
the
Oh,
hat's
fair.
back on his head? Back on your
Mhm.
head? Excuse me, Mr. Hat. Sorry to interrupt you. Might
The
I,
hat swivels.
might I talk to your friend here that's so graciously placed up underneath you? Thank you for that. Yes, I appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure I had your permission first. I see what you do. Very powerful. Great work. What did you find?
Some moss.
Moss? Oh, perfect. And how are we going to go about this? Are you going to help me make it, or are you? Because I need quite a few.
Quite a few.
Quite a few.
That was not the agreement.
The agreement was you need more. You
Yes.
used one, so I need a few for payment. I give you your favor whenever you ask, and you give me more.
More. We didn't specify amount.
Technically, that's true.
Mr. Hat, mind helping me out here with your friend?
The hat sort of jumps off the head, swivels towards you, and you hear this. And then just sort of like goes over to where like Thoe is, and just sort of like rubs against her leg.
Hi. Do you need to talk to your hat? Does he need? Are you? Can I pick you up? I tried gingerly picking him up.
The hat starts purring.
Purring. Oh, hi. Your hat's really sweet. Hi, little one.
Great.
You're-
So you are friends.
The hat sort of looks towards you, and then goes back to purring.
Mandrake, it's not about what I want, it's about what I need. And I need more.
And you'll get more.
Give me a medicine check.
Oh, Lord.
At advantage. I'm a merciful god.
Not much
Wow.
better. 8.
She's you've been around this before. I would say like being a rogue and being around certain members of it. She's suffering from addiction.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You'll get more. When do you need it by?
I realize you can't rush these things. I understand I'm asking quite a bit for somebody who probably doesn't understand what it is I need it for, but as soon as possible, please.
I'll make you more.
Thank you.
Do we all settle in for a rest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's how we're going to do this, because I believe none of you have the ability where you don't have to sleep at night, correct?
Correct.
So what we're going to do from here on in is a new dynamic that I want to introduce to Wonder. All of you have one foot in the ether, being it connected to some sort of thing or another, okay? So everybody's going to roll a perception check, and this is going to represent a collective failure or collective success in terms of the watch that happens that night, to be aware of what's happening around you. So everybody roll a perception check.
20, not that.
20, not nat.
11.
18.
16.
9.
There are more successes than failures. I will say that throughout the night, you guys manage a successful watch. Nothing happens to that. Now I need everybody to roll the d20. This will also happen every night that there is a long rest.
Just a straight D20?
7,
17.
17,
11.
15.
15.
15. 17?
Yeah.
You all sleep. And the four of you have a very restful night's sleep. You do not.
Me?
Yes. A woman comes to you in your dreams. And she is an older woman that you recognize. And she comes forward towards you and she goes, "Are you safe? Are you
For now.
safe?
For now.
Have you met many people?"
A few.
Look how tall you're getting.
Who are you?
I'm safe.
I think I am.
Are they kind to you?
I think so.
That's fair. It's not safe here.
It's not safe many places.
Doubly so. Promise me that when it comes to making the right decision or the smart decision, you will make the smart decision and just keep running. Promise me.
I don't know if I can do that.
You are my apprentice, and an apprentice listens to their master. So I need your word as my apprentice that you will listen to me and run if the time calls for it.
I'll do my best.
I love you more than the stars and the moon. And you all wake up the next morning. Do we continue our journey?
Yes.
We continue our journey.
And we're back.
We continue our journey. There's still some roasted rabbit that's the courtesy of Grimm, and everyone is well fed and sets off in the morning. As you travel, you are still a day's journey away from the town. So, and you meet many strangers on your journey down the road. I'm sure there's conversation, be it pleasant or unpleasant. Once again, we have another night of rest. Unless you want to, I'm good with fast traveling here.
Yes.
And just doing that, okay?
Yes.
Unless there's something that needs to be done or wants to be done.
During this time, can I take a few moments to start working on transforming the blue moss and what
You
I
may
have?
start formulating. You can't do that until you're situated.
Okay.
You have a basic set of alchemist tools,
Okay.
which means you would have to be stationed. If you want to take all of your time once you get to camp and start formulating and figuring out a way to synthesize and mortar and pestle and get to the core essence of this, it is an untested drug.
Right.
Right now, you are distilling something down to its finest sort of
Right.
form, and then seeing where it goes from there.
It made him sleepy, right?
It made him drunk-ish.
Okay. All right.
All right, another night of rest. Mm-hmm. Okay, give me a perception check. By noon the next day, you guys should make it. All right.
That one.
Not one.
6,
16.
7.
All right. So tonight's night
Opposite.
is a super like everyone sleeps fairly well. Everyone, give me another D20. Let's see who's luck of the draw this time.
2.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
16.
7.
Dream therapy.
2.
2.
2.
You are all sleeping. Everyone is fairly awake. At a certain point, you awaken in sort of that space. Thank you, Meowdith. What a wonderful intrigue and people. Oh, we love you, Meowdith. Thank you so much for the bits. Love you, love you, love you. You are in that space again, and you expect to speak to the same person that you spoke to before. However, no one arrives. It is very quiet for a time. Then the walls of that space start to close.
I do everything I can to think of.
You rush,
Something I can
you
do.
push, you shove, you're pushing, and the walls just start getting tighter and tighter. And as the walls get tighter and tighter, you're feeling more and more constricted, more and more trapped. And as the walls get closer and closer and closer and closer, you're having that dream where no matter how hard you try, you just can't stop the forces. And as the walls get close to sort of shoving you against one another and pressing you to death, there's a sharp tightness in your chest, and you hear a few words. 3, to be exact. There you are. and you all wake up. You have a point of exhaustion. You did not sleep very well last night at all. So what that means is all skill checks are going to be at disadvantage until you can get a long rest in you. So attacks, no, but skill and ability checks are going to be at disadvantage.
For Justin.
Yeah, he wakes up sweating. Hello, Miss Audie. Look at the pretty people watching. So you wake up sort of sweating, and Nyx is looking off in a bad place. We take off the next day.
Yep.
You arrive. You arrive to town. It is not a huge, booming city. You are very much aware that the city itself, as it radiates from the castle, the cities get larger and larger. So this is one of the smaller sort of townships off in the distance. You see people sort of milling about, going about their daily business. You are not greeted with harsh stares or anything like that. They're used to sort of travelers coming in at all different hours. This is an odd question for you. Do you wear the hat openly?
Yeah.
Okay. There are some stairs then.
Mm-hmm.
Because the hat itself is not a uncommon style. You see other people wearing it. But for those in the know, this one looks too real.
Okay.
For those that take a closer look. So you guys notice a few stares, and he's just sort of wearing it. It would be the equivalent of somebody walking around Camelot holding a replica of King Arthur's sword.
Right.
Like he's just, okay, all right. So yeah, you walk into town. There are several places. You see an inn off in the distance. If you're looking for anything in particular, we can get into that.
Anything of precious stones, gems, metals.
You're looking for a jeweler.
Yes.
Give me an investigation check.
I'm gonna love not knowing things.
I just realized I have no money.
Oh,
That's
12.
You are sort of looking around. The city's not big enough for that. You realize that if you were looking for anything about like sort of precious gems, you could go to the blacksmith, and that might be the sort of central place in town for weapons. But you don't expect to find much here.
Leather, anything like that?
Yeah, there's a general sort of store that's off to the air. You see people sort of going in and out of, and you see it's just sort of the symbol for coin, and it says Grothar's General Goods.
And this is Doroth, correct?
This is Doroth.
Okay.
How is Day doing? Like, am I noticing a decline?
Yeah, she's not good.
For Tweedledee?
Yeah.
Tweedledee's looking a little twitchy.
Okay.
He looks tired, she looks twitchy.
Okay. Is there a place in this town where I could kind of work on this?
Make an investigation check as you sort of look around the town and sort of like try to find a place.
16.
You see the signs for an apothecary, and you
Okay.
realize that it's not your apothecary, but you might
Right.
be able to, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the apothecary and try to get some work done.
You walk in and you see a furblog there, but it's an older furblog, so the hair is somewhat gray and
Okay.
sort of they're sort of puttering around the shop. They've got spectacles at the end of their nose. And, yes, may I help you?
Does he recognize the hat?
If he give me an insight check.
Jeez. It's not good. It's not good. 4.
Me no. You don't know. He could. He couldn't. But
Okay.
you're sort of paying more attention to the task at hand than you are paying attention to whether he notices
Okay.
your hat or not.
How might one acquire the rights to use your services?
I'm sorry. My services.
Well,
Are you sick? You
more
don't look sick.
equipment.
Stick your tongue out.
I stick my tongue out and then continue to speak and say, more your equipment.
You want to use my equipment?
Yes, sir.
For what purpose?
I need to make some medicine.
Oh, I can make medicine.
This is a very specific medicine.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
What sort of medicine?
Something new.
A new medicine.
Yes.
What does it do?
I'm unsure, but it will help my friend.
You want to make a medicine, you're not sure what it does, but it will help your friend.
I'm gonna pull out some of the blue moss
Okay.
and show it to him.
Oh, I understand. Well, if I were you, I might leave 5 gold pieces on the counter, and then I would go take a long lunch.
How is
4 is 1 less than 5.
Are we all traveling together?
He went in there, unless anybody has stated explicitly that you followed him into the apothecary.
No one came with me? Okay.
Give me a persuasion check.
Yeah.
How about 4?
Less good.
9.
He just sort of stares at you.
I'll be back.
All right, I will be here.
I'm gonna go out and find Day.
Okay.
Day would have like ducked into whatever corner that was close to you, but like in an alley or a dark area or something, and she's just like probably sitting on the floor, like rocking back and forth, and just like chilling.
Give me a wisdom save.
Of course.
Best saves are wisdom.
Best saves of life are free. Ooh. That was on a corner. Okay, hold on. I don't feel right about that.
Should have played the corner.
Shh. You know what? It's gonna make for better roleplay. 8.
Dude, you got 2 pills.
I know.
Might as well take one.
So she's still rational. She's gonna break it in half,
Okay.
pop it in, and then chug it down with the alcohol in her flask.
Of course, every micro dose needs
Give me a D4. You took half of it?
Half.
All right, give me a D4.
1.
You get very comfortable. However,
No.
your eyesight goes blurry.
Of course it does.
Your smell goes a little wonky. Touch gets a little iffy. You can hear perfectly fine.
So everything except my hearing.
And the eyesight is just blurry. It's not gone completely.
Oh, so basically like wearing these glasses that
Like-
are 2 years too old.
Exactly.
Perfect. Got
This is
it.
how you feel. But you're comfortable. You're happy. Everything is like great because you took half.
Okay.
You can thank Eric for designing this particular side effect.
Okay, so she's still rocking back and forth.
Okay.
It's more like
Okay. Did I find her?
You did. Yeah,
Okay.
she's sort of rocking back and forth, swaying in the breeze.
So I found a place to work on.
hi.
Hi. So I found a place to work on your medicine.
Medicine.
Do you have any gold?
Yeah. I have gold.
Can I have some, please?
How much?
5, please.
That's a lot of gold.
That's what's required.
I don't know if
You
I
have to pay the
have
barman.
that much gold.
How much do you have?
That's a good question. If I were to guess how much gold I had, I'd say I had about 5 gold.
That's exactly what I need.
You look fuzzy.
And you look better.
I am.
So 5 gold, please.
Okay.
She hands you 5 gold.
I take her 5 gold. I go back to the apothecary. I place it on the counter.
You place the 5 gold on the counter, and he looks at it and sort of picks it up. And just so you know, 5 gold is an obscenely large amount of money for a small place like this. It was
Yeah.
it's the equivalent of like leave $10,000 on the counter and get the hell out. Like, and
That's
so
exactly what just happened.
so he puts the gold in his pocket. He looks over at you. He takes a bottle of red powder and places that on the counter. Says, if you mix it with the moss, should come out better. And he sort of walks out, flips the sign to closed, and closes the door.
Okay.
Let's go to what the three of you are doing.
I'd like to go get some scraps of leather, or at least check out the general store, the general goods at
Grathar's.
Grathar's, yeah.
Yeah.
General goods.
Yeah, Grathar's General Goods. Grathar sort of stands there, and you're going in there. What are you doing?
I don't think I have enough for what I'm looking for. But I guess what I'm looking for would be an apothecary anyway. So I guess I'm gonna go in after them, but I don't have to have gone in with them. I can go in later afterwards.
Okay, perfect. We'll justify that in a second.
I'm gonna go where I can find some spells to copy down.
Interesting.
Maybe a library.
Okay. Give me an investigation check as you.
Do I know you're going to a library?
Yes, it's a skill check.
Yes, it's a skill check.
Ooh.
It's got the worst.
What did you say? Investigation?
Yeah.
22.
Actually,
At disadvantage.
at disadvantage. Yeah. Do you let them know, like, I'm gonna go look for a
Everyone
library?
else, I mean, if she's still there, I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna go find a library. But if she's gone, I'm not.
I never thought that I could be over the moon.
Well, I can go in with them to the apothecary, so I was going to go later, but he says library, and I've forgotten about apothecary.
You find a very small sort of like building that says, what do we call this? Because I didn't think you'd be looking for a library. Crazy Al's Kitchen Supplies and Library.
Everything under one roof!
Exactly what happened. Alright, and I'm gonna search in there for something that could have spells, particularly illusion spells that I could cast.
Okay, you kind of walk in, and Crazy Al sort of comes out from behind the counter, and he's a large sort of brutish man. He's got a huge belly, and he says, "Good day, strangers. What brings you to Crazy Al's Kitchen Supplies and Library?"
Hey, man, we're actually here for the library side of things.
Are you sure? I have spatulas. They're half off.
Can the,
Would you like some cookware?
do the spatulas have wizard spells I could look up?
Kind of. Do you like making eggs?
Does it take magic?
No.
Then-
Just the magic
then
of your kitchen.
I could do that some other time.
Okay, all right. Yes, right this way. He leads you to a sort of room with this ornate sort of red oak door, and as he opens the door, it is a closet. It is a closet with a few books sort of scattered all throughout the closet on shelves. Inside is one wooden stool with 3 legs,
I was expecting something else. Well, you look for what you're looking for, and I'll look for what I'm looking for. It's
so
not going to take long.
you're looking for a minor illusion spell?
I think
I've already got minor illusion.
more. What is the spell where you can disguise self?
Disguise self. Okay, so you're sort of perusing through all the books and things of that sort. As you sort of go through the books, you're not finding a lot of the magic that you're finding are cantrips and are something that like a lower sort of class wizard might use. Things that easy spells that you would be able to find. There's a few books on history. There's a few books on religion and things of that sort. But any sort of magical books, you'd actually have to find a magic user themselves because those books are very expensive.
I am looking for any books on herbology. Specifically, what I'm looking for is because I have darts. That's kind of my main weapon, and I want to be able to coat them in some sort of a sleeping of stuff.
Give me an investigation check as you sort of start perusing all of the books in this small library.
And so even if it's not even if it's just guiding me towards plants I need to look for in order to brew it myself, I'm just looking for things that work. You said investigation, right?
Yes.
17 plus 2, 19.
Yeah, you start looking around and you're pulling every book off the shelf and you're having trouble finding it. And as you're about to leave, you sort of see that the kickstand that was being used for the door is this old sort of like leather-bound book, but you see a picture of a plant on the front cover. You pull up the kickstand for the door and start pouring through it, and you see listed a few plants that you have seen in your travels. The problem is you need high quantities of the flower in order to do that. So it would take some time, but you realize that with enough sort of foraging and enough drying them out that you could conceivably do that. It would still cost the materials of the darts themselves, and it would cost time in order to gather the flowers and to dry them. But you feel like it's a 3-day process.
Okay.
But it makes about 20 sleeping darts.
I take out my cell phone and take photographs of the pages. No, I write it down in my
Universal
book.
clothes.
So
And then
I
Doc comes
write
out
down I sketch out the flowers and write down the types of flowers I need. And yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You are looking for leather.
Yeah, so any unwanted leather scraps that I could start mending together, bracers, gauntlets, bindings of any kind.
Okay. I will say that you go past where the blacksmith is and you see sort of refuse bins and you're able to find. Give me an investigation check as you start pouring through these bags, trying to find workable pieces of leather. 9. You find some pieces, but there's a reason they were thrown away. They don't really work in terms of that, and you see a small boy sort of peek his head around and sort of look at you as you're digging through the refuse.
Young man, you there, young man.
Well,
No, come out, you're fine.
he sort of takes a few steps forward.
And what is your name, boy?
Thomas?
Thomas.
Yeah?
Well, I have a nice little job for you.
You're a stranger.
It's fine. I'm just gonna slowly pull out a piece of gold and just like do one of these like.
Okay. Alright.
That's less creepy.
What's wrong with your hand?
How about a magic trick to ease the? How would you like this to be yours?
You know magic actually exists here, sir.
How would you like a gold piece?
I would very much like a gold piece, sir.
Are there any other?
Please don't do that thing with the ear again.
I know it comes. Would there be any other piles of leather lying about that are more put together than this here?
There's a bunch put in the shop.
And who's in the shop?
My dad?
And what's his name?
Grandpa?
Oh, let us go in. Let's go talk to him.
Alright, you head to the general goods store and there's a man and he says, "So there, what are you doing? Get out! Hello, sir. How may I help you?"
Hi, I am Grim. I'm here. I've heard that your shop is well known for having.
The boy comes over to you and tugs on your shirt.
There you go, buddy. Thomas, right?
Yes.
There you are.
Yeah.
The young man.
Why are you giving my son gold?
The young man had helped
He
me.
wanted me to show him my leather thing. He wanted what?
You can show me your leather thing too for a coin.
Excuse me?
No. Like, it's no. Okay. We've all gone off the wrong foot. I'm here to look at if you have any leather of any
Oh, I
kind.
bet you are.
Not in that way, sir. Just what? Can I see your supply? The leather.
He grabs the gold coin from his son and sort of puts it in his pocket, and Toothy looks very sort of crestfallen and sort of runs back outside. He shows you his armor and things like that, but he keeps a distance away from you, and you think he's instinctively like covering his crotch when he's showing you a bit of the armor, but he points to the wall and says, "We've got fine studded leather armor and things of that sort."
I'm looking at something more particularly to cover the hands, probably from about quarter of the forearm to about where the knuckles meet in the hand.
Oh.
Anything like any wrapping, any gauntlets, any gloves, or of any sort like that. That
You're looking for
in
fingerless
fine-
gloves.
Sure, that are fine material.
Yes, well, I'm sure we could come up with fingerless gloves for you if you wish.
Oh, then please, by all means, I'd love to see.
It will cost 4 gold pieces.
Funny.
Jeez.
Funny how I had just given one up. How about 3?
Okay.
Oh my gosh. You just got swindled.
He runs over, he gets takes a pair of gloves off the wall, and just slits the fingers, and does it for both pairs, and then hands it to you. Anything else, sir?
And the quality of the leather's pretty fine.
It's super fine, except for the places where you just cut it rather quickly.
Oh, could you do me one more?
Yes,
Could you possibly mend around the fingers so that they're not so frayed in the end?
absolutely.
And
For 1 gold.
well, for one, I've given you quite the amount. For Okay, and you know what? I'm going to give you the gloves, have them begin touched up and
Yeah.
fitted to my hand.
Yes.
And if that works, then I'll give you a gold. How about that?
He takes the gloves and he starts quickly sort of embroidering them, and he says, "Can you come back in an hour?"
Of course, if you wouldn't mind, I require an emblem
Ooh,
or maybe an embossing.
more of a custom job.
Yes, sir. If you could put a wolf's head upon him, that'd be.
Yes, well, customs are a little more expensive.
Well, how about I be about my way and we could renegotiate on my return, considering the job at least.
So you want to leave the gloves here that I just cut the fingers off of?
You have 4 gold.
That is true.
And I imagine based on the.
All right. That's fair.
I appreciate and the time. How long do you think this will take?
An hour,
Fantastic.
maybe 2.
An hour sounds fine.
It might be a little extra.
If I look outside the windows here, I'm pretty sure 4 is more than.
Give me an intimidation check.
Ooh. It's been a while, so I could shift a little bit if I need to, yeah?
You could.
Can I try to shift a little bit?
Sure. If you want to burn through your shift, I will give you an automatic pass on this intimidation check, but you lose your shift for the day. That's your minute once a day.
Fine. I'm gonna let the fangs come out a little bit and the eyes to kind of start to glow, get more
You
tense.
watch
That
as this
brow starts to
Man
get wider.
sort of like leans backward.
An hour's fine.
I could probably do it at 45.
Sounds great.
And he
If it's not, I'm coming for Thomas.
Wow.
Okay.
he shakes his head.
Is there anything shiny on the way out?
Just the pee on the floor.
Whatever I'm running my hands against as I'm walking out, I just want to grab and just walk out the door.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Cool. Anyone? So, I'm not going to look at what it is until I leave and then rejoin.
Sure. You sort of go out and if anybody's outside, sort of watching, Grim is just sort of walking down, sort of holding on to this sort of package in front of him.
I'm sorry.
Apothecary working, figuring out yourself in the library, sort of
Library.
high in an alleyway.
Nothing.
But you are relaxed and fine for the next, I would say, few days. You do not have to worry about anything. You are love and peace and grace.
Hello, darling.
Grim is holding the most lovely ceramic doll you have ever seen in your entire life.
Is it still like super fuzzy and everything, or is that kind of
No,
faded
that's
away?
sort of faded away.
That is so beautiful. Tell me about it.
Funny story.
Yes.
I'm just going to hand it to her.
A gift? I knew it. And then she'll just kiss him on the cheek.
Yes, thank you. That was... Something's not quite right.
What? I don't know. My ears look great. My hair looks fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
And you're the only one around, I'm assuming?
I would say that this takes the better part of a day for you guys to go looking through the library and things of that sort. I need you to finish up your work at the apothecary. Let's figure out how we're going to do this. I will say you have a proficiency in alchemist tools, and you're in a place, so I will do an intelligence check. So add your intelligence modifier plus your proficiency bonus, and that will show me how much and what quality that you make. Are you concentrating on quality, or are you concentrating on quantity? You can pick one.
I know. I'm gonna say quantity, and I also want to wait around until the man comes back.
Okay. Do you incorporate the red powder that he left
I
for
do.
you? Okay. Give me an intelligence check.
Oh.
That one.
Woo! You are playing around. Oh.
Oh,
Okay, let's do this right. So you have some of the moss, and you're in the apothecary, and you take a little bit of the red powder, and you go, just a dab will do, and the top comes off of the lid, and the whole red powder hits the moss, and all of a sudden, like, smoke starts filling the room, and then seeping out from the windows, and seeping out from the door itself, and you'll give me a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage as the room fills with smoke.
19.
disadvantage.
Oh,
So 3.
So the room fills with smoke, and you start like coughing profusely. And as it does, as you do, you hear this coming from above you.
I tap the hat.
As you tap the hat, you feel hair.
Oh.
Shit.
The room is completely filled with smoke still.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump up
Okay.
and try to see whatever's up there. Maybe if it's above the smoke.
You jump up, and your hat sort of falls forward, and you hear this thump on the ground. And as you start blowing some of the smoke away, you see this small boy with a curly poof of like red hair look up at you, and he goes, "Well, you right fucked that up, didn't you?" And that's where we're gonna end tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Wonder and letting us breathe a little bit and explore our characters and see what makes them tick and what makes them the unique, amazing beings that they are. We had some dark moments tonight, but we also had some really fun, cute moments. We almost had a dire wolf battle, which was amazing. So thank you all so much. We cannot thank you enough for tuning in, because this table always has a seat available at it for you. Our viewers and stuff like that. So, and it's right there, unless somebody's sitting there, in which case we'll have another seat at the table for you. But just know that every Tuesday night, no matter where you are, you can always join us and wonder. So, from everyone here at Indigo, do you wonder? We'll see you soon.